The reason I want to spend extra time on this is just this is a very common counting technique, and it's important to understand how it works because it seems a little difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a difficult problem, but the technique itself is actually pretty straightforward. So you're saying we could start by saying I put a bar down here and I've got 1, 2, 3 potential spots for it. But now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 for the second one. And they seem to interact with each other.
Yeah.
Right? And then we might worry, are we overcounting? How do we deal with that?
Yeah.
Right? And that's fine. You can work that out. And it's okay. It's just a little complicated. And I want to try to make this as simplicated as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the situation that we have here in this picture?
So we have 1 of the first, 1 of the second, 1 of the third, 2 of the fourth, and 1 of the fifth. Or none of the fifth.
Okay, but yeah, that's what that counts. But what's the actual situation? What do we have down on the whiteboard here?
So we have a bar after the first one,
Uh-huh.
bar after the second, bar after the third, a bar after the fifth.
Okay, what do you think we have down on the board here? What do you see when you look down at the board here? Because we want to go to the absolute simplest thing that we see here.
Well, there's these five stars.
There's 5 stars.
And then there's 4 bars.
There's 4 bars.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
what do we have?
So we have nine objects that we have to put down.
We have 9 objects that we have to put down. How can we what can we do to put these objects down?
Well, you can put them down in any order.
That's right.
So that would be in 9 factorial ways to put them down, but there is some overcounting because you have identical objects.
Ah, we have identical objects. Okay, so how do you deal with that?
So you have 9 factorial over 5 factorial for the stars and times 4 factorial for the bars.
Okay. So that would be 9 factorial over 5 factorial times 4 factorial.
yeah.
What's another way I could think about this?
Well, you have 9 spots and you have to choose where the, say, the stars go.
Ah, how many spots are there?
That was 9, choose 5.
It's just 9 choose 5, which is what?
Which is...
How do I compute what 9 choose 5?
It's 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 over 5 times 4 times 8 times 2 times 1.
Which is another way of saying what?
It's
9.
It's just 9 factorial over 5 factorial times 4 factorial.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Okay. So ultimately we have 9 spots and we have to choose the 5 spots where the stars go, and then where do the bars go?
Just they fill in the remaining spots.
The remaining spots. So the only thing you have to do is imagine putting down where the bars go, or where the stars go, and then you're done. So what if I had 3 types of objects? 3 objects. 3 kinds of objects.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to pick 6 things total. What would I do? 3 kinds of objects, and I need to pick 6 things total. So how would I do this with stars and bars?
Well, you'd have to do a bigger row of 6 stars, and then
Okay.
you'd have to put down 2 bars.
2 bars. And so,
Which would mean that it would be 8 factorial over 6 factorial times 2 factorial.
right? Or say it with choosing numbers.
Or 8, or it's 8 choose 6, or 8 choose 2.
Okay. Now I want you to tell me, what if I had 10 objects and I needed to choose, and I needed to pick a total of 15 of them? 10 objects and I needed to pick a total of 15 of them. What would I do?
So you have 10 objects to. So you have 10 of these stars. No.
All right, let's go to the next video.